Hey Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Gemini. We are here to dive into the mutable energy and see what's coming into play for you all in this lunar cycle as we're edging our way up to the first new moon that will be going down during Virgo season. That comes in on the 23rd. There's a secondary one coming in, a black moon, that will arrive on the scene on the 21st of September. So this is an interesting territory we are traveling through, and I got a really interesting character introduced for you all that came in as I tapped into the mutable energy, and what I heard was Harry Pothead of Splyffindor. And it made me laugh because it made me think of this character just kind of chilling out in the small hours, you know, enjoying a little kind, thinking quite reverently about irreverent matters, and also maybe playing around with a little bit of arcane knowledge. Might be why I felt drawn to the Arcane BS deck for you all to get your overarching theme for the mutable energy. And what I mean by that is this may be somebody who's more of an intellectual. This may be somebody that tends to look at things from a more serious angle, and now maybe they're asking themselves, why so serious? They might also have a side of them that's a little bit more undercover. They're a bit of a joker. They like to play tricks on people. They do find a little entertainment in this. This may be somebody that is into role play or might be in theater. They like to try on different characters. They like to engage with different characters too, and they're really fascinated with the psychology of people. This may even be somebody who studies psychology. But in tandem with this, that why so serious part, when that came in, it made me think of Sirius and how it is the spiritual moon. And it made me think of another character from the Harry Potter series. It made me think of Sirius Black. And Sirius Black was Harry's godfather, okay? Born into a blue blood, wealthy, wizarding family with a history of working for the forces of darkness. But Sirius went through a little bit of a transformation, perhaps through a bit of contemplation in the small hours, and went rogue, changed camps, joined forces with the Order of the Phoenix. But ultimately was framed for a crime and imprisoned in Azkaban. So there could be themes of this coming in. There could be a character that you're dealing with here that is in contemplation. This person's normally more of an intellectual, and though they do have a bit of more sort of playful, questioning, also irreverent side to them, when they do dive into areas of exploration, this is somebody who likes to see facts to support the beliefs. This may be somebody that has more of a kind of material view of reality normally, and yet they are a bit intrigued by stuff that can't be explained. They like to figure out how things work, what makes, you know, like people, what makes that person tick. But I also feel there's something here about beliefs and beliefs that differ from their own, and wanting to understand, well, why do you believe that? And why are you so adamant to continue to be devoted to a certain perspective, especially spiritually, I feel. And I think this person is deciding to look at something a little bit more deeply. And this may be inspired by a particular character. It could be inspired by a serious black type character in their life, somebody that they look up to, somebody that they consider a mentor, somebody who has a very different kind of perspective. They may want to learn more about that path. And there might be something about, you come from two very different backgrounds too. Okay, so somebody here could be more focused on building the light, and the other is more comfortable working within the shadow, or there's some real polarized difference between the two of you. And yet there's somebody here who wants to join forces with you, and they feel like it's their second wind, but they also may need a little bit of a rescue. They might be getting framed. They might be dealing with a situation where it's like guilt by association. They may be accused of something they feel like they're not guilty of. And this person's trying to reach out. This person wants to connect. This person is a bit of a star mate here. They might be starting to see things from your angle. Maybe this is somebody who didn't believe in metaphysics, you could say, you know. This person's into physics, but when you take it more into the realm where you're merging the scientific with the spiritual, that's kind of where they normally draw the line. This may even be somebody who normally views themselves as an atheist, like somebody who doesn't believe that there is any kind of spiritual meaning behind life, and they look at things through more of a practical angle. But I got this hit here, okay? Maybe this person likes to stay up late at night, because I got this Harry Pothead, you know, of Splyffindor vibe there. So maybe this person likes to stay up late at night. They think deeply about things. They ponder things, and they do research, and they read books. And this person is always learning. They have like a real thirst for knowledge. I picked that up. They're an intellectual. And that's what turns them on, to learn more. And this person's always seeking higher knowledge. And so, you know, maybe they sort of decided, I'm just going to like play with this a little bit. They might have come into contact with you. You could be, I mean, if you're here, you're probably somebody that's more into exploring spiritual paths. You may be somebody who is an alchemist. You may be somebody who works with magic, and you may talk about these things. You may be a wizard, and everybody thinks you're a little bit crazy. And certainly, perhaps, you know, Harry Pothead thought you were too, but now they decided to do a little experiment. I think this is somebody that will test theories, okay? So this could be somebody that, you know, never, you know, even bothered exploring that stuff before, and they started, you know, messing around a bit, effing around a bit, and they're finding out, whoa, wait a minute. Oh, whoa, wait a minute. There is something to this. There is something to this after all. Yeah, I did, you know, pull that one out of the grimoire there. I didn't quite expect the way it would land me in the belly of the beast. I'm finding out I'm a little effed here. I mean, my instincts told me maybe it wasn't the smartest thing to do, but it didn't make sense to my brain. And so I tested my theories, and now I'm finding it's getting a little bit hot in here. And now I'm being held accountable for this, and I'm trying to figure out where's the clause there when I made that deal with that devil. Is there a way out of this, okay? So they might be teaming up with somebody, trying to get some help. This character could be a little bit dualistic. You know, the Harry Pothead of Splyffindor. It could be Sirius Black is, you know, Harry Pothead of Splyffindor. This could be somebody who, even though they're an intellectual, maybe they don't really buy into the whole, you know, spirituality perspective, you could say. This might be somebody who has, despite that, always been drawn to things magical, very interested in things like the Harry Potter series, or the Chronicles of Narnia, or Dungeons and Dragons, and, you know, just that side of fantasy. But maybe that's because there's a part of them that knows that there is a bit something more. And this could be somebody who did recognize perhaps the forces of darkness, because that's something they had tangible proof of in the world, where it's clear, you know, that people seek worldly power, and it's clear that people distort power, and it's clear that the people who corrupt power are often the ones who hold it. And so they may have valued that a bit more, especially on a material level. But as far as this like light side, maybe they doubted that, or maybe they felt like it didn't hold any weight until perhaps they encountered you and they're like, woof, I'm feeling a little down for the count. I need a second wind here. Maybe I need to change camps. I need to join that Order of the Phoenix, because all I know is it's getting hot in here. How do I get out of these flames? How do I get out of this South Node action? How do I make the journey from the underworld and kind of get a little bit of a higher perspective here? Find my way up to the North Node. Find my way up to that North Star. And it makes me think of the constellation, that sun star, the spiritual sun, the brightest star in our galaxy that's really easy to find. Just follow Orion's belt. It points right to it, and it is the brightest star. So there's something coming through here too about having some power renewed by perhaps doing a little meditation on the star Sirius coming through here. It can give you a guide to the galaxy. Maybe you can hitch a ride here and find your way to aligning with this character. Maybe there's something about a link with Sirius coming in here as well. All right, we have a raptor riding a dolphin in space. So I do feel like that could even be like earth, water energies teaming here as well. There could be somebody, this effing guy, this serious black hairy pothead of Splyffindor character here, maybe kind of joining forces with a character here who has already kind of made this personal journey themselves. This could be somebody that's earth, water strong in their chart here, joining forces with fire, right? So, I mean, we got all of you coming in here, of course. So we got Virgo and Piscean energy teamed up here, maybe allies to this effing guy here, which is coming through, a strong Sagittarius. Or it could be one of these characters that's needing to hitch a ride. Yeah, the identity hasn't been unmasked yet here, okay? But their third eye is really getting on board at this time. They're starting to see a new way forward. This is the opening message here. It's kind of funny, but it's clear that somebody's needing a rescue. Maybe needing a rescue from a chaos mom here. Somebody who knows how to work with the forces of chaos and spin something creative out of them. They're hoping you can help them find the waterway and get out of that belly of the beast, get out of that hot water and find a way to surf it, surf the Zavuya to get to the other side and transform this energy, all right? Somebody here is ready to hang loose after fending off a whole hell of a lot. And I do feel like they're recognizing that they've been teamed up with some characters that may be framing them, you know? Maybe framing them. And that's why they're wanting to change camps here. They're hoping to get a second win because they're down for the count. All right. Just the opening download there, pretty interesting, but I do feel like somebody's been doing some experimentations with magic. And somebody who just kind of took it flippantly, you know, rather irreverently, and they're learning a very reverent lesson about working with these forces because of what it's set in motion in their life, right? And that's making them think a little bit different, maybe about another perspective here. You know, with somebody who works with a different brand of magic, you could say somebody who's more focused on elevating the energy, transforming lower vibrational energies, moving out of the shadowy territory, building the light. And they might go, there might be something to this. That's what I'm seeing. Somebody is getting some illumination. They're seeing something they haven't been able to see before. Okay, let's check this out. What is this coming in here for the mutable signs? At the same time, there is a little playfulness here too, okay? So I do feel like somebody feels like they're being framed here, right? And I do feel like somebody feels like they're stuck, like I'm being held back from something because I've been framed, man. But there's also like a little bit of a playfulness around it too, okay? So don't take it all so serious, all right? I do feel like there's that quality there. There's like this sort of jokey, tongue-in-cheek, you know, sort of playful energy around it too, okay? So don't get too bent out of shape with it, all right? Just for that Godfather energy to come in here. Somebody could be like this type of character too. This could be somebody who's, you know, known to carry a little weight, you know, known to carry a little weight on the streets. Somebody who's known as like kind of a tough guy or the big boss, you know, as well. You know, they may come from a line of people that all carry that kind of weight, you know. This could be something within the family, but this person's also got, like, you know, this person does have a little bit of a freaky side too, and maybe that's what they're getting caught up around, this like this freaky side, the side of themselves that they keep hidden from most people. They try to keep it behind the scenes. They got a couple unicorns, you know. Yeah, they might even enjoy, you know, working with a little bit of that kind of magic, you know. They generate a lot of energy from that too. I can see that as well, like what they keep hidden, you know, the fact that they can appear real buttoned up and got it all together and in this position of power. Oh, but if you saw what was going on behind the scenes, now that's a magic trick to be able to pull that off, put this spin on this. And so I do feel like there's a little bit of this side to this character too. There might be something that's being revealed that previously was concealed, has this person, you know, feeling like they're a little hung up here, like, you know, they're being made an example out of. That's how it feels. They may feel like they're being made an example out of a couple of, you know, a couple of these unicorns are the ones that are putting them in this spot. All right. Just the way, you know, that came in, you know, they may feel that, yeah, they may feel like that got used against them in a way. They may feel like, wait a minute, you pulled a little sleight of hand with me. How did I get caught up here? I thought we were all good. We were. It's kind of a funny energy, okay? But somebody's not liking the burn of this. They're not liking the judgment of it. They're not liking the way that it's kind of keeping them from moving forward in a way they want to, or taking certain opportunities they want to take advantage of here. Yeah, and they see how that loyalty is paid off for them with annihilation here, like, this person's singing a bit of the blues. I really feel that. And they feel like as much as they acquired, it's just as quickly taken away when you build your future on the wrong things here. I do feel like somebody's taken advantage of others here. It's been difficult. Somebody feels like they, you know, sacrificed maybe their true happiness just to stay true to an old ideal, or maybe a family, or maybe a group of people here. And that loyalty is the thing that's like kind of lumping them in with perhaps, you know, a little bit of karmic rollout that they don't want to be connected to. They're like, no, you know, I want something different for myself. It's like, yeah, you get to play and you get the advantages and all that, but you also have to pay, and that part sucks, you know. That part sucks. Like, you know, is this really all it's cracked up to be? Okay, so there is somebody here, and they did actually F around. They found out, okay. And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison was a Sagittarius, okay? So it reminds me of Jim Morrison when he fooled around with that high priestess and, you know, they got married and did the whole hand fasting. And for him, he was just doing it for, like, you know, shits and giggles. It wasn't anything he was taking seriously. He was just having fun, man. You know, he was just in it for the moment. But she really took it serious. Like, she was like, wait a minute, you know, you pledged your loyalty. That was an oath. And then she was really PO'd about that, man. And that's what I think this is like, somebody is being made an example of by, it looks like a couple unicorns that really did take it seriously. For them, it wasn't just fun and games, right? For them, it was reverent. But there's a character here who's taking it quite irreverently. You know, this person's a joker. They're in it for the moment. And they do get a certain power out of it. And certainly, if there was a little bit of, you know, energy harvesting, energy building in terms of coming together on a more carnal level, then I certainly think they were down for that. They're like, hell yeah. But it's costing them something big here, some kind of happiness. And they also recognize that as much as they felt like it gave them certain power, or they were able to pull something over on others, and it gave them a temporary ego boost, there's also something here that it carries a pretty heavy price when things are balanced out. You know, the underworld always wants there to be compensation for those material rewards, all right? Lest they do drag you down to hell. So there's a little bit of this energy in play too. This could be somebody that put you in that position. This could be somebody who used you as a footstool to get a boost. They may have taken advantage of your loyalty, and now they're finding that in doing so, as much as they had advantages in the moment, now they're kind of hung up here, and they're being made an example out of by the very people that were, you know, kind of using them as a pawn, really. And that may be what they're realizing, like, wow, I didn't have as much power as I thought, because these people actually used me as a pawn to get at you. And I betrayed that loyalty, and now it's the thing that's making me come undone, okay? There could be some people in this group that, you know, they didn't see something clearly. They were out there just having fun, and now they're looking back and going, oh man, well, party's over. Yeah, and let me just kind of chill out for a minute. Let me get my bearings, you know, let me light this spliff and kind of go outside and stare up at the stars and see if I can get back to my origin story. Why am I here again? What am I supposed to be doing? Okay, it's got a little bit of sauce. Yeah, I like this though. Somebody is ready though to enact some kind of transformation here. I do see it. They are ready to learn something new here. They want to align with their true north. This is somebody who's entering a different kind of study. And I do feel like this is somebody who is having a radical shift in their spiritual views and their philosophy of life. And they recognize that where they were heading before wasn't really in alignment with their true soul's purpose. And there's a mask being shed here. And they're starting to head down a road of self-discovery, self-knowledge. And along the way, it looks like they're wanting to align with somebody here that they feel some kind of synergy with, because they recognize perhaps they were in alignment with the wrong people here. Okay, interesting opening message for y'all. Let me do a cut of the deck and see what we got here. Absolutely. So I feel like right now they're in this place of contemplation. Okay, we got kind of like some hangman vibes here. We see there's that desire for self-knowledge, for transformation. Also, do I tap the potential that's here? Do I open up to this new experience? Or is it better left to rest, you know? So I do feel like this is really considering whether it's time to give something up or whether it's time to crack open that potential and see what's there, right? It's all about that cosmic egg of creation. Dare you see what's inside when you crack open that cosmic egg of creation? Somebody may be trying to restrain from connecting with others intimately at this time. They recognize when they do that they build the ojas within them and they start to experience a different kind of activation. They're not spilling out the ojas. They're not wasting that life force energy. Instead, it becomes amrita. It becomes like nectar of the gods. They recognize that it gives them a different kind of power, that serpentine power, that kundalini life force energy, okay? So they might be restraining, connecting on a physical level, but they're able to feel an elevation on a spiritual level. It's a different way of working with the energy. If you're experiencing that, it can still be encountered in the energy body on a very carnal level. But if you're experiencing that, you got to rise it up, okay? You got to rise it up from your root chakra center, from your sacral chakra centers. Rise it up from Muladhara, Svadhisthana. Take it on up beyond Manipura and let it land in the heart to start, okay? That's a good place for it to start. If you can breathe it into the heart and kind of focus on the breath and helping with the breath to elevate it up to the crown, up to Sahasrara, then you know, you can experience the unfurling of that 1,000-petaled lotus, and that's when you really tap into that cosmic egg's potential there, right? This is the awakening of creative energy, but somebody knows that it's going to be quite a ride, and somebody also knows that in bringing this to consciousness, there's also a sacrifice here. There's also, you know, a recognition of some kind of accountability as well. And so there's sort of the weighing this out, you know, the weighing this out, because one does have to make peace with the deeds of the past. Like, that's how it's coming through. There's like no way around that. There's like a record book of this, and it's also part of the deal. I see that, okay, on the other side. But I feel like somebody is ready to take this by the tail. They're ready to activate the new beginning here, okay? There's been a lot of spiritual cleansing that's come in here. I also feel like, you know, this is that 8th house territory of Scorpio. So this is really about something that has been operating beneath the surface. This is the subconscious motivations. This is the occult. This is the taboo. This is the stuff we don't normally talk about. But somebody is ready to call judgment on it, and somebody's ready to talk about it, and somebody's ready to take it by the tail and really activate that seed of potential and have that new beginning. So I do see they're going to crack that cosmic egg of creation wide open here. And you may get a little bit scrambled up a bit initially, but I do feel like, hey, you know, you got to crack some eggs to make an omelet. And that's just the way that goes, right? Let me get some further details here. I'm going to pull out the angels and imps on this and just get some further highlighting points before I dive into your individual reads here. So right here we have Ace of Wands, bottom of the deck. So absolutely, they're going to take this action here. I see it very clearly, and I think it will be a crowning moment. This is going to restore a sense of personal inner authority where one's given too many of their ideals, too many of their choices, too many of their views over to outside authorities. This is reclaiming that, and it brings about a lot of growth. It also brings about that quality of multiplicity. So the more they head in this direction, the more they build the light in their life, the more they take hold of their creative power, and the more opportunities that open up for them. This protects from despair, but they are going to have to be patient with this. I think this is somebody who's, used to having it now. I want it now. You know, they like that instant gratification, but this is not something that can happen instantaneously. This is something that's about the journey and not about the destination. And I feel like whoever this character is, they're always like focused on the destination, the end result. And this is a journey of unfoldment that they're stepping onto here. It's about laying down the proper foundation as well. There's also a need for self-atonement here. There is this piece about accountability for deeds in the past, and that's part of the deal with this here. So I do feel like that's what is being weighed out. But if this individual is really honest with themselves, they struggle a lot in relation to this. It haunts them, it hounds them. And so as soon as they sort of like deal with this, the sooner they're free of it. And that's going to free their mind in a big way. And it's also going to be the thing that delivers them from persecution. Okay, so it's almost like the angels are on the outfield pulling this character back. Yeah, we know you want to leap ahead to the ending of the story. We know you want to be in your montage moment, but wait a minute, come back here. We do need to deal with this first. All right. Okay, just one round of these. Just get any further details about this and the cut of the deck, and then we'll dive into your individual reads here. Let's see. Okay, we just have one crossing card. So I feel like this is sort of the bridge up ahead that needs to be crossed here. And it's in reverse. It's the Page of Swords, okay? So this is abandoning strategies. See, this person always has a strategy. They over-intellectualize everything. They have to have everything planned down to a T. They think they know everything. Everything is about the intellect to this person. But this is an area, a territory they're moving into that defies logic. And that's what this person really needs to understand. This also is about needing to abandon this kind of stance that when we got the Page of Swords in reverse, it's more like subterfuge, you know? It is. It's doing things the sneaky way. It's not being upfront. It's about the subtext and what's in between those lines of communication here. It's all about the things that aren't said, and that's something that is needing to shift here in order to move forward with this. Until that's done, there is no refuge because one feels really burdened by their mind and the account in their mind of how things went down. It's like you don't get to escape that. When you lay down at night, you close your eyes, you know, those things that you try to ignore in the waking hours, they will haunt you. And I do feel like this is somebody's conscience is really like tugging at them and saying, you know what you need to do here, okay? I do think it's something that's coming up in their dreams. This person may be struggling with that, you know, having some subconscious stuff bubble to the surface, that stuff they tried to tamp down there. This could even be repressed memories coming up, things that need to be integrated here. And they may have wanted to avoid this, but I feel like whatever's happening for this individual, there's some kind of recognition that, wait a minute here, there is more to life, because this is just very strange. They may even be getting information in their dreams, and then they're finding that it's playing out in their waking life. And they're like, okay, so there's more to this story here of why we're here and what my life's about than what I've been told, or just simply the reality tunnel I've been viewing it through. And so this is something that's in the process of being revealed. I also feel like this person is getting ready to reveal themselves. Like they've been keeping a side of themselves hidden, or they've been operating undercover here, or, you know, they've been sort of holding themselves back from putting themselves into the loop of this energy. It feels like it is a loop of energy that's building here. Let me do a cut of the deck here, and then we'll move on to the individual signs. Okay, we have Five of Swords here. Yeah, so I mean, there is some need for accountability here. I see it. It does look like there's a group of 3 people in this situation. And, you know, maybe this person here that's finally taking a stand and is deciding, well, maybe I need to, you know, make some changes here. I need to get out of that fire. I need to embrace the energy of the Phoenix. I need to go through a transformation here. But they also feel that, you know, along the way, I feel like there's a little bit of complication for this character, because they know that in doing that, there's a couple that they were working with here that will feel betrayed by this. They'll feel like this person is turning their backs on them. And they're like, but wait a minute, you roped us into this in the first place. So I could see there's like a little bit of mirroring energy here too, where this person's feeling like, man, you're like framing me. Because you pulled me into this, and now you realize you shouldn't have done this, and now you got me involved in this mess. So I could see that too, okay? I think there's a couple people here that see this person like changing camps, and they're very concerned about it. They know that this person is not buying the answers that they're giving them either, and they want more wisdom. They know this person wants to know the truth so badly that they're going to go out and find it. And I do feel like it burdens a couple people. But there's also this really kind of complicated relationship here, where the three people were interlinked with each other, and it felt all good at one point. They each within this dynamic feel like they're being framed or they're being pointed out by the other. And there's some finger pointing in this situation. 7 of Wands, you know? And each individual is really in this position like, I am representing this hill I'm standing on, and you're not going to take me down from it. This is my soapbox, mister. That's how it's coming through. But I see it also like there's the strong desire to be free of this. I want to be free of this. And also free to be who I am. I don't want to keep, you know, part of myself hidden. I don't want to live a double life, you know. I just want to live my life. I want to live my life authentically here. And I feel like once this is done, ironically, like once the secrecy and the intrigue and the plotting and the planning and all the subterfuge, once all of that is done and whatever needs to be addressed is addressed, this frees somebody. It frees them from enemies, both visible and invisible. Okay? And a lot of times when we're looking at those invisible enemies, it's the aspects of ourselves that we haven't seen that are keeping us hung up here, right? So this is a really interesting energy coming in for the mutable signs here. I'm just going to kind of like move this back here, move this out of the way. And we're going to do just like we did. I think I'll do that for all of the different groups because it was a lot of fun. And it gives a lot of information for the more condensed reads. We're going to use a super awesome future deck here. All right. And we are going to begin first with Virgo, because they would be next up after who led the fixed sign group, which was Leo. All right. So Virgo coming in at 3810. All right, you're coming into alignment with a turning of the wheel of fortune, Virgo. And it is your justice. It is your balance. This is a good alignment for you. And there might be something that you do need to complete, though, before you can come into this place of alignment. It's almost got the impression of you left something back there, okay? And something back there needs to be addressed before you can really step into the full potential of this turning of the wheel of fortune for you. Wheel of fortune energy coming in with 11 energy, justice energy. There could be a Libra connection, Sagittarian connection for you. You could have these signs strongly aspected in your chart. I also had a really interesting message coming in initially for the initial download, and since it is surfacing right now, I feel like it's speaking very strongly for you, but it also makes me think of these 2 new moons that are coming in within Virgo season and that black moon. So I feel like it's also a collective message factoring in here for those who aren't Virgos and tuned in for the Virgo read. You're meant to receive this message here. I also feel like there is a little bit coming in here about something that needs to be balanced out potentially during this cycle, during your season, something that's really going to come to a head here that involves tying up something from the past that brings the gift of potential for the future out of it, right? And it might involve a little bit of accountability about something, or facing something squarely, or hearing somebody out that you feel needs to balance things out with you. But I do feel this energy coming in as well. Okay, let's see what this is. Oh, look at that. Leo energy coming in there. We got the King. We also have a new beginning here. So there could be something that you do need to deal with that has its roots in the past. Maybe you didn't have strength to face this before. I do feel you have strength to deal with this situation now. It could concern a Leo. It could also concern a Sagittarius. With that one energy there, makes me think of the first house. There could be an Aries connected to this. Also, number one, the Magician, that makes me think of Gemini. So any of these characters could be factoring into this situation. Also, with this energy, when we look at the Magician, it does make me consider that perhaps there was a little playing around with alchemy. I mean, we did have that initial message come in that somebody was like experimenting with things, and they may not have known what they were playing around with, but it did have results. That there's a balancing out for that. Okay, so there may be something in relation to that too. For those of you who are wizards, there could be something that you set in motion that has some repercussions, and that needs to be balanced out as well. You play, you pay, okay? All right, let's see what we got coming in here around this, right? Or somebody, you know, may need to balance things out with you. Somebody could have, you know, pulled some mess with you. It was all fun and games until everything went left there. This could have been something that created some kind of instability in a household with a group of 3 that were working together, and there's something that needs to be balanced out here. This is something that was done secretly behind the scenes, but I think there's a lot of suspicion around this group right now. People see it very clearly that they were doing something behind the scenes, and it does have that like secret society, like occult vibes there, okay? Trying to create instability in somebody's house, in somebody's household, in somebody's foundation. We got 8 energy coming in around that, okay? So again, that's Leo connection there. It's also something that's associated with a cycle of manifestation, something that was set in motion, something trying to take somebody out of a position of power, maybe even try to remove someone from a house, or try to completely disrupt their stability. And that was so strong there that I almost said instability instead of stability. So I feel like this has been like the aim here in this situation. It's like somebody has wanted access. Somebody's wanted into territory that they have no permission to enter into here. That breaks down to the energy of 6 here. So you may even have vision around this. You may have sensed this. You may have felt like, wait a minute, I feel like somebody's trying to like infiltrate my space. And I would say you're not incorrect about that. I think there's somebody that's been trying to find multiple ways in here. And this could be what there's interrogation around, okay? There's that kind of energy here, like somebody getting caught up. It could be somebody overstepped boundaries, and this is being revealed. And, you know, I'm talking about this through a more sort of alchemical lens, but certainly that can be practically, okay? That can be practically as well. What do we got here? We got the Queen, Okay, so we have the queen and we have the king here. We have a pair. We have a magician and we have a high priestess. Tag team effort, perhaps. And like I said, you know, there was one here that is breaking from this pact. So there was an agreement, but somebody here is recognizing something ain't right. And the other two can tell it's off. It's coming through really strongly here, but I feel like there's a couple that's at the center of this, all right? And somebody here does have the sight. I see it. There's a high priestess here that does have the sight. They do have the vision. They could be strong Sagittarius, also with that hawk medicine there, strong Aries, okay? Also, high priestess energy could have any of the water signs highly aspected in their chart, right? Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. This is somebody who does have sight. This is somebody who is able to see. This is also somebody that knows how to have good energetic boundaries. And beyond that, they are able to tap into the string of synchronicity. They are able to understand the omens, the portents, and what they mean. They're able to decipher them, communicate them. And they've seen the signs of this tampering. And there's justice, there's balance here. I mean, it comes in doubled, okay? That 11 energy breaks down to 2 as well. Double 2 is 22. So I feel like there is something that's being repaired between two. It looks like a king and a queen are finding a way through. They're finding the way to open up a certain door of opportunity where there's been blockage because somebody's been trying to disrupt the foundation here. Okay, very interesting. Any more details about this for Virgo? So if things have felt a little off within the house, I do feel like you're about to find the key that sets things right, all right? And also it may be you need to use this key to lock a door from there being interference. It's like somebody currently has too much access to what should be kept behind closed doors. That's what I feel here. And I do think there's illumination about what needs to be done to resolve this issue, to prevent somebody from creating interference in a situation that's been creating instability. And it could be the instability coming in with the 5 energy was created by this unicorn here. And it's like, peace out, okay? Thanks for the good times, but it's time to bring this to an end here, all right? I'll remember the good times. I learned a lot from you, but I'm ready to move beyond this energy here. So it does feel like, you know, that energy of getting caught up with the unicorns, you know, something that was supposed to be a little bit of fun. But I do feel like somebody here may have felt spurned by that. Like, you played with my heart. It wasn't just fun and games to me, right? Somebody took it reverently and the other person took it irreverently. And I feel like that's what this is. So there is something that's transforming here with the 5 energy. Could have been a Taurus connected to this, okay? Somebody that, you know, feels like they've been disrupted in some way, or they've had some stability shaken in their life because of these antics, these fun and games here. I feel like there's something that's being resolved here, though. There is a letting go. There's a change in this situation. I also feel like the keys that are needed to free oneself from a particular situation, they are going to be placed in your hands. So where you felt like, you know, you were kind of held up here, this is transforming. But I do feel it's coming in here, and it's coming in with the energy signature of 8 because this attack landed right on this queen. There is somebody here that is on the attack, all right? And it's got like invader from Mars energy. So, I mean, this person could be acting out of their Mars energy. Somebody here could have strong Aries energy. This could be somebody that's connected to an Aries, okay? It's possible, but 8 energy coming in here. This is somebody who's on the attack because they're aware of something. And it's coming in with the queen. So it looks like the queen is on the attack. So you may have these 2 energies that are facing off here because we got a unicorn. That's not the queen. That's somebody on the side. So there is a little bit of a warring energy that's been going down in this dynamic. And there could be a high priestess here who they feel like they're a queen. They're the one who should be holding the power in the position of power. And somebody here is out for someone's head, because that's what the praying mantis does. You know, I feel that. Like, and also somebody may feel like, well, you worked me, like you were mentally manipulating me, you know, and now it's like, touche. There could be something that's coming to a head around this with the next full moon. All right, so be on the lookout for that. Let's do a Coven deck here. Let's see what we got. All right, well, but you know, I feel like you'll get by with a little help from your friends. There's a lot that's been coming in recently about lean more on the masculine than the feminine at this time, you know. Especially, you know, in relation to Sagittarius here, okay? With that Wheel of Fortune energy coming in there with the energy signature of 10. Like, if you're wanting to move more into expansion, if you're wanting to experience the higher rung of the spiral, if you're wanting to get beyond this sort of karma that's rolling out here, that it looks like somebody is attached to by proxy. It's almost got vibes of guilt by association. Then, you know, there's certain feminines here that you got to watch out for, man, because they're on the attack. That's what I see. They're on the attack, man. They're ready to like settle a score here. And so you can't really necessarily trust this energy, because it's got its own designs. It's got its own plotting, its own planning, its own strategy here. And so I do feel like this is cleaving to some masculine energy here. It's got like big brother energy. And I don't mean that in the creepy, like, as keeping an eye on you kind of energy, but it's very protective. You know, this is a loyal energy, like, I got your back, I'm looking out for you. Now, it could be that there's a group of masculines here that feel like, you know, somebody's been attacking this queen here, and they're like, let us cover you. You're fighting off all these people on your own. When we're going to come in, we're going to lend you our might. Could be Mars is coming in to lend some might to a particular queen that's been trying to fend off a lot on her own. Okay? That might be how they feel like, I can balance out where I got it wrong back there. I can make it right. And I'm coming in with muscle. Okay? So I can feel like this energy sort of coming into play here too. Woo! Yeah. Because we got the broken mirror here. We got some bad luck. And so, again, it sort of goes into that energy of something needs to come to an end here. Right? Something needs to come to a close. It's coming in with the signature of death in the tarot. Scorpio could be connected to this. And again, the occult could be connected to this. See, this is the thing. Sometimes when people are just like playing around with stuff, they're exploring stuff, and they're like, well, let's see if this magic stuff really works. You know, I hear these people talking about, it's a bunch of BS. You know, I can see somebody very much in their logical intellect, it's a bunch of BS. And then they go and they mess around with it, and they're like, they F around, they find out, oh wait, there's something to it. Because when we're looking at the energy of working with magic, what you're really doing is you're working with your raw, creative soul's material there. You are a creator. So when you focus your energy, when it shows you the true potential you have if you wield your energy masterfully, right? And that's what true alchemy is all about. It's about refining the self. It's about taking all the subconscious stuff, bringing it up into the light, having a real good look at it, and working with that material in its exalted form. That's when you build the light in your life, okay? But a lot of times people get roped into this exploration from more of an egoic perspective. They want to have power over another person, or they want to obtain goodies, and they want to have control over their circumstances, and they take all that potential outside of themselves, and so they weaken its force, all right? And they don't recognize that the end result of that, okay, when things kind of come back around, because your energy always returns. It's your energy you set in motion. It's just showing you your own energy in the mirror of your life. You see cracks in the facade and you're like, oh man, why did I set that in motion? Well, because it's there to teach you something. Not all is lost. It may be a bit of glamour, right? It's a little bit of glamour. Glamour is fun to work with. It is. It's fun to work with when you're using it in a way where you're kind of taking on a different aspect of your own identity that you've always been in a position of maybe trying to tamp down, and you need to represent it more in the world because it's one of your strengths. So I can see this kind of like playing out in that way here, okay? But when you try to repress it, when you try to keep it secret, and instead you're doing workings because you're wanting to affect other people's lives or circumstances, eventually you will get the reflection of that back. It comes back to you. You call it bad luck. You call it fate. You call it, you know, a rough hand, but it's not true. You orchestrated it all along. And I do feel like somebody is learning this lesson, all right? Somebody is learning this lesson, and maybe they're learning this lesson through this. Like, they had a lot thrown at them and they were able to overcome this energy, not through manipulating others, but building the light, okay? And this could also be somebody who has played both sides of that fence. And now they're turning something around here too as well. I can see this. It's a really interesting dynamic energy, but I'm curious what is behind this bad luck, because I do think somebody's getting a different view here. There is something that's coming to an end. I like this. Okay, well, somebody is stepping into their own independent power here with the cat lady. But there's still, you know, I mean, there's somebody that's aligning here with others still in secrecy. No, 4 others. This is 5 total here, okay? It's Virgo energy, all right? So I do feel like Virgo, you have some people around you who want to know, how are you able to keep it so together? How are you able to be so calm, cool, and collected here with all this going on? They feel like you may have given them the slip in some regard, or do you know something I don't know? You're keeping something from me, all right? So protect your peace at all costs, because I do feel like you got somebody here who is a bit on the warpath, and they're wanting access to things that you really should keep private here, all right? You do have some good allies, but I mean, I just got to be real. I'm going to call it out when I see it. I feel like you need to be a little bit sus of some prying feminines around you at this time, because these are people that want to know what's going on, because they're going to run tell that, and they're going to go and talk to other people, and it's not where you're going to find your loyalty. It's not where you're going to find your turn of fortune. And in fact, with the energy coming in with that 9 energy signature there, it does give me the impression that it might be information they want to have about you to prevent certain people coming to your aid, or prevent you from having certain community that you need as well. It could be a very isolating energy. So, you know, turn to the masculine in your life, okay? They're the ones who are going to give you the loyalty you need here. But I think there's something that's being restored here. I do feel like you're going to get the keys you need to open up a significant door of opportunity, maybe even keys actually put in your hands, keys that you've been needing, okay? And maybe even keys to a new home, or keys to a car, or it looks like it's a key to freedom, however that is being represented in your life. It's good, and you do have loyal friends on your side, but be aware of some of these women out here. I do feel like there is a queen here, okay? There is a queen, but there's an obstacle to like bridging this gap, all right? There is an obstacle. Something needs to be overcome first. And I think this queen is needing some assistance. And so there's also like figuring out a way to come to this person's aid. But Looks like ultimately it all comes right in the end, but just do prepare for a little amplification of the energy with the full moon. And if you are an alchemist and you have been feeling like too much energy sort of grabbing at yours, I would say, you know, just make sure you're really building up your own energy field there to prevent those intrusions, and you'll be just fine. All right. Okay, coming in at 59.49. Okay, 14.13. This is really interesting with the mutable group here. There's something that needs to be balanced out in relation to the past, Sagittarius. Okay, there is something that needs to be revisited before something can be balanced out. You have to go back to go forward. This is a message that seems to be coming in so far for the mutable sign. So there was that same quality that came in for Virgo. So Sagittarius, you could have a connection with the Virgo. There may be something that needs to be addressed here. Could be in relation to a Scorpio. 13 is the death energy. Is associated with Scorpio. Also is in relation potentially to occult matters, a taboo matter. Something that happened behind the scenes, all right? Those things that are hidden, the mysteries of life, all right? So in order to get some answers to something that came to an end, maybe unexpectedly, you might need to go digging around in the past to get details in regard to that, Sagittarius. All right. Let's check it out. Ooh, yeah, you don't have the keys you need yet to open up a certain door. You feel like you've lost the keys. You feel like you're locked out, perhaps. You don't understand what's going on with this. The illumination hasn't come yet, but that's because you're looking for the illumination in the wrong place. You need to look back to the past. You see, the illumination comes from down below, not above, okay? So there's something here that's in the roots that you need to see, in the roots of the past. And before you'll get the keys you need to open this door, there could be something hanging out in your subconscious. There could be a memory you need to retrieve that will illuminate a lot for you, maybe help you retrace your steps, help you know what it is you need to do. You may be finding keys that you don't even know what those keys go to. You may need to figure out what those keys go to. They may unlock something that has the answers you need. Okay? So this is quite interesting. You may be receiving, oh wow. Okay, this came out for Virgo too. Again, we got the King here. Sagittarian energy, your energy here is something connected to your past. Could be connected to a Leo. Also could be connected to some alchemy work that was put in motion or a previous manifestation cycle. Oh yeah, don't talk about it. There's cloaked energy around this. There's secrecy around this. There could be a Gemini connected to this. Also, there may be a desire to revive something from the past. Also, that magician energy can be in relation to other people. It can have a rejuvenating effect when you thought all was lost or there's no way to revive something. There is. It gets a second wind. It may take courage, okay, to look back into the past, to retrace one's steps, to reclaim some power that was lost, that will give you the key that you need, that gives you the freedom you need and the power back in your hands to activate a transformation or recover a lost opportunity. I see that. And with this, we have the Hierophant energy coming in with the number 5, the change that's needed. The Hierophant in traditional Rider-Waite Tarot does hold 2 keys that sets 2 free. So you may be free more than just yourself. by doing this. There may be another that's freed as well. And that's also Taurus energy connected to this. We have Cancerian energy coming in here. Last time you left this off, it might have been kind of a compromising situation. There might have been some dynamics in play where you felt like you got the raw end of a deal here, where maybe a Cancer had the upper hand. They could be a Cancer Leo cusper. It's possible. Somebody may have tried to exercise too much control in the past, but I do feel like in order to get where you need to go and the proper alignment here, you already got the memo about something. Somebody that you're in alignment with, some kind of soul connection where you're really wanting to forge a bond here, not a bind. But in order to do this, you need that freedom. So there may be something that needs to be dissolved in relation to the past, okay? There's something that's had a real controlling influence that needs to be released. It could be a contractual obligation. It could be spiritual work that was done that's been preventing forward progression here. I do feel like you have the courage to face this. You have the strength to overcome it. I do feel like you will get your power back. This is good energy. It does show there's like this moving forward with the energy of the horse coming in here. Being able to overcome past challenges, also the activation of a brand new beginning, and feeling like yourself again. So you may have felt like there was a little wind taken out of your sails, or I just haven't been quite myself in a while here. First house, there could be an Aries connected to this. Your energy real strong. We also have Gemini coming in here and Leo, all right? Okay, give me some more details about this. For Sagittarius, okay, we have a house coming in for you too. Bottom of the deck, vigor. I feel like you have been lugging a lot behind you here for a long time. You've been trying to bring about a new beginning in your life. You've been facing a lot of your fears. You've been staring them down. I think you've really been working with your own energy. The 9th house is your house, Sagittarius. There could be a Virgo connected to this. This also could be in relation to your work, okay? Your work may be going through a radical transformation. There could be something that's really shifting there. You might be also stepping out of an old routine or your old stomping grounds. Like there's something that's really changing here. And there is something that's been holding you back. And it could be your allegiances, your loyalty, and it could be old energy that you're still tied to, that you're lugging behind you, that's weighing you down. And there's a need to maybe go your own way for a while, to have the courage to do this, to let go of what in some cases may feel like a safety line to you. You know what I mean? It may feel like it's something that gives support, but you don't realize the way that it's actually holding you back here. There is something that needs to be resolved. There's grief that needs to be resolved. There's a state of feeling really conflicted. Some of the state of feeling conflicted may be in feeling like you have to choose either or. You don't want to have to choose either or. Is there a way to bridge this gap? But there is like unresolved grief here, and that's what's preventing the bridging of the gap. There's been no like bridge built over that troubled water, those troubled emotions. And until that is really faced and dealt with, there won't be the ability not only to exhale and let it all go, but also take in new life here, okay? I think you're getting close to finding the strength you need to let this go and to learn something new. It's like you have an old understanding of a situation or a problem, but there's something new that needs to be brought into the awareness here to get an accurate perspective of actually, you know, something that you can feel really proud of here. And, you know, the rooster crows at the break of day. So I do feel like there is the dawning of a new day here for you, but you can't see it right now because you've been kind of stuck in a holding pattern here. What do we got here? Oh, there's been temptation that's caused a lot of problems within a household. I see that. Got the number 8 coming in here. It's like really thrown things off within a home situation. Things have felt off at home. There might have been arguments at home, okay? There could be a Leo factoring into this situation. I think there's been a lot that's been bubbling to the surface too within Leo season. Maybe something's been on your mind since around the 4th of July. Things have just felt a little bit off. Things have felt a little bit strange. You're not quite sure what the best course of action is here. You also may be, you know, trying to heal a connection. And this can be any connection that's important to you. You both could have a strong Sagittarius placement. I see that. I mean, we do have kind of like double Sagittarius energy here. There's a little Scorpio in the mix here. There could be some Ophiuchus energy running through here for you all. We got 8 again, double 8s, 8, 8, 16, the Tower. Okay, so there is the vibe here about something going down in Leo season. It's interesting though, because this house isn't totally in reverse. It's like, it's a little knocked askew here. Like something's just a little bit off, right? So I do feel like there is like this desire to create disruption within this home. There are some snakes in the grass. We got Scorpio energy here. Leo energy here. Real strong. 8 energy signature here too. So this could have something to do with manifestation work, you know, alchemy work, spell work, stuff that's been put in motion from the past, coming back around, because it always loops back around. It's an infinity loop here, right? And it all meets in the present, whatever we're seeing going down here. Yeah, I see. Look at that. It's subversive. You see, look at the lightning raising up from below. It's hidden. It's all coming from the roots. It's all related to the past. So I feel like that's what's creating some kind of instability. Things are feeling a little bit off. This could even be a couple, okay? This could be a couple that does work together and they're starting to recognize like, oh, wait a minute. What's happening here? That was not supposed to hit us. Why is this disruption being created in our household? Well, this is part of coming into self-awareness too. Oh, that stuff in the past is coming home to roost, right? And there's 2 here too. This could even be related to past lovers connected to these 2 are creating instability in a current connection. All right? I see this, but there is temptation here. There is temptation. And these 2 that are supposed to have their forces joined, they're looking in 2 different directions. And I feel like it's because of diversion. It's because of distractionary energy that's coming from outside of them, toward them. And they haven't arrived on the scene yet, but I feel like these 2 feel it. They feel it. It wants to interrupt the hope of the star coming in with 17 here. Aquarian energy could be connected to this as well. Leo rising, since Leo came out very strong. Leo rising is Aquarius descendant. Okay? Something to be aware of. So if you feel like, okay, things have felt pretty good. Yeah, you know, things felt really off at home, but, you know, we've been working on things and yet you're sensing like, wait a minute, something's starting to feel off again. Whoever's been trying to create this disruption, they're about to go back at it, right? So just be aware of this because they see that the hope of the stars coming into view. The North Node alignment is coming in for you all. They could have tried to set something in motion with the last full moon that came in Aquarius. But I feel like, you know, To be forewarned is to be forearmed, like just to be understanding of this. Don't worry about going tit for tat. Yeah, it's definitely some kind of like manifestation that happened beneath the surface. You know, I had that energy come in before on a download. I had a dream about it, actually, about the serpent of yawning depths, right? So there's something here about trying to distract, trying to tire out. You know, there may be like somebody that when you connect with this person, you power up. Like they bring a revival of your energy. And there may be people that are aware of this, so they're trying to create separation between you and this person. Because if they can create separation between you and this person, divided, you're weaker. Together, you're stronger. And this is a group of people. They meet in secret, and they are trying to create this disruption. But if you are aware of this ahead of time and you continue to not abandon, you know, sort of like that alliance you have with this individual, or your faith, your trust in this individual, and continue to put your energy on, you know, forging that link instead of being distracted, instead of being caught up in the illusion and caught up in what's draining your energy that you're meant to preserve and pour into fulfilling the hope of the star here, then I think that you'll be able to withstand this. It can be energy that you recycle, that you compose, that is renewable energy, because really you can do that if you know how. If you know how to work on the level of a scion, instead of working on the level like these sort of like parasitic or vampiric energies that have to harvest energy from others. If you can generate the energy, even energy that's sent at you, you can transmute it. You can go, okay, well, let me use that energy. I'm going to transmute it. I'm going to build it as a light force, okay? You can do that. So I do feel like this is needing to also, you know, dive into really managing your energy at this time. Be aware of what's distracting you. Stay focused on where you're heading here. Also stay focused on a key connection. Somebody that you know has got your back, okay? Somebody you know you can trust, because there's some kind of seeds of dissension that are trying to be sowed here. And you can't let this happen, right? Use that energy to, you know, strengthen your own center of awareness here. Use it to build power in your own force field. Use it to build the power of your connection, you see, because if there's this many people opposing you linking up with this individual, it's because when you two team up, you're a dynamic duo. And what you'll achieve together, it is the hope of the star. It's deeply rooted, it grows, it has strength, it has longevity here, and that's why they want to interrupt it, all right? So don't give them this stronghold. That's what I see. That's how it's coming out. Don't let them disrupt the foundation that is being laid here, because it's a strong foundation that you're starting to lay down here in this month, in Leo season. So don't blow it, man. Don't lose it last minute because you allow this energy to, you know, fracture your awareness by splintering it off into all this distractionary stuff they're trying to stir up around you that drains your focus and drains your vitality and drains your full potential of what you can use that power to generate in your life. Is there's something you're meant to root here, and you're meant to partner with another on it. I see it very clearly, okay? Could be an Aquarius connected to this, a Gemini connected to this, okay? Leo energy here. All right, cut of the deck. What do we got? Zombies. And I'm telling you, the answers in relation to this are in your past. It's something that does need to be brought to completion. And this energy wants to know. They want to know what's going on with you. They're going to come at you. before new moon on the 23rd. Be prepared for this. So with this, that 21 energy, that's the world. Success is on the other side of bringing this to a close. But there is the sense that you got to dip into the past to resolve this issue. The problems are coming from something that needs to be effectively dealt with, buried, put to an end, laid to rest in the past. And it is coming in with the fixed sign energy. Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, Taurus, right? They're going to come at you again. And it's because they want knowledge. They want knowledge of your plans, what's going on here, what's your next step, because they want to try to interfere with this, all right? They're trying to create division because they know once you root this, it looks like you're coming into connection with somebody. Once you root this, there's no bringing it down. It's got legacy energy. Look at this. It brings happiness. It brings the manifestation of success, fulfillment, happiness. It secures that dawn. But the problem is you keep schooling people out of like a sense of loyalty, or they're my friends, I want them to know like what's going on, what's coming up with me. And unfortunately, not all these people want to see you step into this success. Not all these people want to see you step into this expansion. Not all these people want to see you activate your destiny. They want you to be limited by the fate that they dole out to you, okay? So don't let this energy in. Do what you need to do to close the cycle out. And it looks like a big renewal coming in here for you, maybe even a renewal of a connection and success on the other side. All right. Pisces coming in at 121.06. Okay. So, new beginning for you Pisces on the other side of bringing something to a closure. It will activate a new vision in your life. A new vision that frees you from the crossroads. Right now you may feel like you're hung up a bit. The reason why you're hung up a bit is because something hasn't been brought to completion. Coming in with that world energy signature, there could be something that needs to be completed with a fixed sign. Okay, so with a Leo, an Aquarius, a Taurus, or a Scorpio. Okay, something that needs to be brought to an end in order to move forward freely. Get out of the crossroads. There could be a Gemini connected. Activate a new vision in your life. There could be an Aries connected as well with that one energy that came in there too. All right, so let's see what we got here for Pisces. Super awesome future. What is the message that is coming in for Pisces and their super awesome future? I'm getting the clue to cut the deck into 3 piles with you, just to really clear it out. I do feel like something really needs a good clearing out, Pisces. Like you got to really clear the decks here before you can get free of the crossroads. So let's do this. Bottom of the deck. See? There is a turn of fortune that's coming here for you. But in order to take advantage of this path that's opening up for you, it is like the wheel of fortune turning here. There's an adventure up ahead, and you're getting your coordinates on lock. You're traveling light, moving forward here, but in order to head in this direction, it may even be to a new home. You may be relocating, or you may be going on more of like a metaphorical journey, you could say, that leads you back to home, like leads you back to the origin story of who you are and what you're here to do. We have hints of the new moon in Virgo coming in there on the 23rd. So that particular cycle of time, it does seem like this is something coming in for the mutable signs really strongly, that this window between those 2 new moons in the season of Virgo, first on the 23rd of August and then on the 21st of September, this is like a pathway that leads to a new destination. But in order for you to head in this direction, it's like you have to take your head out of the sand. You have to face something head on. You cannot be in a fear space around this. you do need to face it directly. And I do feel like you will have a spirit of adventure around this. You'll move forward with strength. You'll move forward quickly. Okay, ostriches, they move fast. They move fast and they're strong. So there is like a map you're getting here, a lay of the land that lets you know where you're going. You do have a compass here too. So I feel like this is what you're calibrating here. You're really getting centered on the direction you need to go. But there is something that needs to close out first. This is very clear. There's something you have to close out first with that world energy. So let's get some more details about this. That's interesting. This kind of wanted to linger behind this card here. In relation to a love relationship. Now with that 3 energy there could be an empress connected to this situation. There could be a mother connected to this situation. There could be somebody in this situation who is having a love child. I'm just noticing the unicorn energy there. So this could be the other woman in the situation. This could also be connected to a Taurus or connected to a Libra, right? With that Empress energy there. But this has something to do with a union. Something that's wanting to like stay connected here. Maybe to this journey ahead. I mean, coming in with that world energy, it could be a Taurus, all right? Let's go ahead and see what we got here. I mean, that we're going to go ahead and keep that on the bottom of the deck. That is normally what I would have brought in anyway in cutting the deck, but it's interesting how it wanted to stay connected to the journey. There's a key there, okay? There is a key there. Go ahead and do another cut here and see what we got. Right. There's something that needs to be settled here. We got a kiss up energy here. There could be like a big boss energy connected to this. Somebody who's balancing things out. Bringing in a little bit of law and order, you could say. But the way this person exacts law and order, I mean, they kind of walk a line with it. It's got big boss energy, if you know what I mean here. Coming in with 20, there's some kind of judgment that's been made in this situation. Somebody may be getting paid off here. You know, they may feel like they're in a more compromising position, but it's like, look, you know, you got to keep quiet about this if, you know, things are going to be good here. You know, just move away from the scene quietly, okay? Because so could be somebody here that knows a little too much about a situation too. That puts them in a little bit of a compromising position here. Somebody may be paying them off to just go away quietly, okay? Sagittarian energy coming in with this Pisces, with the 20. There's some kind of judgment being made here. Also, with the Judgment card, there is that feeling of renewal too. So there could be something that went down in the past too that was a little compromising, maybe in relation to some kind of payout, like some kind of exchange here that happened, and it's being dredged up again because there's also that kind of energy too. There could be news about this that's spreading. There could be some kind of voice coming from out of the past as well that is connected to a dynamic like this. It's a little bit compromising. All right, one more cut of the deck here, and then we'll get some shuffling going on here, get more details. Oh yeah, there's something here that needs to be addressed, and it is coming in with the Hierophant energy 5 here, so a little instability around this. And before you can really get free of this old cycle of energy, there is accountability or something that needs to be reckoned with here, something that needs to be dealt with here. It could involve government officials, could involve an institution, could involve a corporation, could involve making peace with one's own morality as well. We think of the church when we think of the Hierophant, or we think of an intermediary here, somebody who is in a position of power that maybe has been holding the position of intermediary that has the ability to grant one freedom in this situation. When we look at that Hierophant energy, it deals with institutions that hold the power. So I do feel like there's something going on here. And there's been something a little sus that's gone on, and somebody is trying to break free of an arrangement. before they're found out. There may be a couple that want to rat this character out. So I do feel like there's something to deal with here. It's something that's happening beneath the surface. Somebody's trying to make a break, perhaps, from having some accountability. And I do think this is something that's coming to the forefront here. All right. It may have something to do with money or assets. We got a house here too. What is this? This is like coming out for all of the mutable signs. So there's a house here. Something funny that's been going on within a house. Got the number 8 here coming in. Again, Leo season. Not all is as it seems to be, okay? And it's interesting because that's your energy right here, okay? We got the 12th house, a blind spot, karmic cycle, something that needs to be closed, get to the other side of what's been very painful and reignite the heart fire and, you know, help to find the way back through to a time of joy, restoration. Also, it's like reclaiming the sacred heart space here too. Maybe burning off some old stuff, doing a little purification in the heart as well. Clearing out some stuff that's been troubling the heart to come to a place of healing, all right? Breaks down to 3 energy again, okay? So there's that Empress energy coming in as well. It's also your energy here. This does look like some kind of healing happening on the other side of something that could have been disrupted within a home, right? Within a stable connection here. Finding the way to get through to the other side. We've got Leo energy coming in with this, okay? If you have been dealing with some problems, if you've been grasping more of the thorns than dealing with the sweet love in a situation, I do feel like there's an ability to get to the other side of arguments. There is an ability to resolve matters. In some cases, it could have felt like maybe somebody on the outside came in between your relationship and it caused problems. It caused fallout, okay? I think there's a way to open up things again, maybe create renewal and a connection. But in order to do this, there does need to be sort of like a purification here, like clearing things out, getting beyond some stuff that was the thorns so you can get back to the sweetness of the bloom here. This looks like some kind of healing process that's wanting to happen here. I mean, yes, there could have been disruption caused by a third party in a situation. And there's a need to clear this out. It's coming in with strong Taurus energy. Real strong Taurus energy. Okay. And yes, it does need to be brought to a close because when we total these here, it comes out to 13. 13 breaks down to 4. So we got Aries energy there. We got Scorpio energy there. All right. This is something that's been hidden and it does need to be addressed because it looks like it's been causing some issues, some problems within a household. Things have felt off, right? And so I do think that there's something that's being processed and a desire to get beyond what's caused problems in a relationship, to find some kind of unity, some kind of healing, getting back on the same page again. But there's been sneakiness. Somebody may have been ghosted in a situation as well in relation to this, right? Somebody may have just gone missing. They may have just moved out of the house, you know, ran off, you know, no accountability, just took what, you know, they could with them, okay? That's not in all cases, but that could be coming in here for somebody, so I am bringing it in. Somebody may feel like they have to meet with somebody that they've had a tryst with, like one more time to make things right. And we got happiness here. Coming in with the number 7, okay? Yeah, somebody may need a break from monotony. That may have been what caused all this in the first place, okay? So now we got Cancerian energy coming in here. Cancerian energy with the Leo energy. Could even be a Cancer-Leo cusper here. Could be somebody who's having a birthday soon, you know. They're wanting a little birthday getaway with this individual. Yeah, and then with that, we got the moon coming in, okay? So this could be something that's brewing here. It could be communication that's starting out here. Somebody wants to shoot someone a message. There could be a Sagittarian connection there. We've got Scorpio here too. And then we got Wolf off in the distance there. That's Pisces on the medicine wheel, okay? That's your energy. So I do feel like there is a desire to connect with somebody here and to experience some kind of emotional transformation, maybe even bridge the gap of some distance where somebody's feeling like, you know, they've been separated from somebody, and that person feels like their true path. There's like a soul connection there. There might be a desire to connect. There might be like some kind of trip coming in that's desired here. This could be like celebration around a birthday as well. There might be some kind of key there. 33 breaks down to 6. Okay, could be a Gemini connection also there, okay, as well. So there could be a Gemini bringing in some communication too around this. These are all characters who could play a role, but Sagittarian energy factoring strongly here makes me think of the blessings of Jupiter in the sign of Cancer coming in as well. I think there is the ability to heal something emotionally where there's been some deception or something's been compromised in relation to some kind of seduction or something that was happening on a more secretive level here. It looks like there's some kind of communication happening here, sorting something out, and also working through something on a more spiritual level as well. Something that frees one from a holding pattern, maybe opens up a path of exploration. And this may be more of like a metaphorical path of exploration too, a journey that leads one back home to their heart, like the truth of their heart. Also back into that place of a certain spiritual illumination, understanding. It may involve linking with some people that take one out there on the ethers a bit, you know, that brings about a different philosophy of life, and whatever's processed here, whatever's closed out here, it also opens up a new pathway of exploration. But I do have a piece here too about like some kind of trip, you know, going on a trip. It could be somebody's receiving a trip as like a birthday present, or there's the desire to connect with somebody around their birthday here. That could be coming in as well. And somebody feels like you're the sun, you know, to my moon, or vice versa. There could be some sun-moon synergy here playing out. But I do feel like communication coming in here, voice from out of the past. This may have been somebody that you share a very magical connection with. There could be a lot of synchronicity around this person. They could be a blast out of the past. This person may have just broken out of like a committed relationship, and now they're, you know, wanting to explore something from their past too. Maybe renew a past connection. This energy could be coming in as well. There could be something about traveling seaside, you know, going to the shoreline, spending time near a body of water, getting away from it all, dropping in deep with somebody, maybe to process some stuff, maybe to seek out, is it possible for us to transform this situation? There may even be a need for that too. Like maybe we need to get away like from our usual environment. Maybe we need to drop in deep, you know, on some kind of neutral territory here and work something out. This could even be something that's going on in a group dynamic too. There could be 3 people here that are dropping in with each other and sorting things out. Maybe with somebody that's acting as an intermediary, kind of like almost like a group counseling or doing some kind of retreat, you know. I got this energy too, to try to sort through something. It is something that plays out over time though. I see that. It's not going to happen immediately. There's a progression of energy here. But I do feel like there's indications of this that start to come to the surface with the next full moon. All right, let me do a cut of the deck and see what we got here. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a need to digest an old cycle here. There's a need to transmute some old energy. And there may be a need to go on a journey of exploration that requires one to leave behind a connection as well, and to explore themselves, come into their own understanding again of who they are and where they're at now. So somebody may need that. They may need to leave a relationship for a while too, to just do some solo exploration. There could be a Virgo connected to this. You got that 8 energy. Again, there could be a Leo connected to this, right? 8, 9, 17, like it reclaims the hope of the star. And then again, that may mean for a while you have to kind of like journey through the valley of the shadow on your own, to sort of find your own light, you know, have your own vision for the future. And maybe that happened too. Maybe there's 2 here that got a little lost in the shuffle of merging their lives together, and they need to separate a bit to kind of explore their own paths for a while before they can come back together again. And that might actually be really healing, therapeutic for a relationship. And there may be a point of like coming back together to digest things and renew things in September. Okay. Oh, look at that. Your energy there. Yeah, follow the signs. There's a lot of messages coming in from Spirit at this time. There's also a lot of signposts coming in for you that show you what way to go. Aries energy here too. So it's all about, you know, you coming back into yourself here and really trusting your own guidance, your own intuition, you know, trusting where you're feeling led to go to explore. And opening up those wild paths of explorations. The High Priestess energy coming in there, really beautiful there. Okay, so you could be dealing with an Aries, you could be dealing with a Sagittarius, you could be dealing with a Virgo, you could be dealing with a Taurus, you could be dealing with a Leo. Any of these characters, fixed sign energies as well. Scorpio came in pretty strong too. Aquarius came in there. Leo rising. All right. But it looks like whatever comes through here, you're going to be led exactly where you need to be. So trust your intuition, trust the flow. I do feel like you will be moving forward. You will be moving forward with a lot of strength, a lot of personal empowerment here. And yeah, the crown looks good on you, okay? So I like the way it turns out. Looks like something works out quite well in the end, all right? All right, one more here coming in at 140, 147. We have Gemini. 141, 47. Okay, there is a change in store. You're about to take an action. It's going to really transform things for you, Gemini. You're also springing a lock from something that's held you in place for too long. You got the key to your freedom. You're going to use it to get your motor running, head out on the highway, looking for adventure. Whatever comes your way, you are born to be wild. You're balancing something out. There's some kind of alignment coming in for you, some kind of alignment coming into view. And you're ready to embrace your super awesome future. So let's see what is coming in here for you, Gemini. What adventure awaits Gemini up ahead here, Spirit? What adventure awaits Gemini up ahead? All right. Let's see here. I kind of feel drawn to do the same thing with you too, all right? I feel like doing this cut of the deck into 3 piles, kind of getting a baseline energy for you. I feel like there is a backstory for you. I do feel like you already got to the other side of it though. So there's something you already brought to a close. You're more heading into your alignment. So you're on the other side of some kind of transformation here. But the backstory matters, I'm hearing. So let's have a look at the backstory here. Oh yeah. Looks like there was a breakup. Okay, you broke free from a certain situation. You could have experienced a breakup in a relationship, certainly. We do have this 4 energy signature there, so that's that Emperor energy, right? Could be, you know, somebody that you know, you really did consider your counterpart. There was a real strong connection there. Could have been an Aries connected to this. Also, I do feel that there could have also been, you know, leaving a certain group of people behind as well. Sometimes that happens when you end a relationship too. It's sort of like the friends get sorted out, you know, and everything shifts. It can be a little bit awkward when something comes to an end. This could also be just breaking with an old situation where you recognize, like, I don't want to be connected to this. You took an action and felt very much like stepping into your power in this situation. You recognize that this wasn't what you wanted to be tied to. I do feel like there's a messy situation back here that you stepped away from. I see that you're already on the other side of this, because we do have this sailboat heading off to calmer seas and brighter horizons here. And so you are stepping into your power and new foundation for your future. This is good. Yeah, something needed to be brought to an end. It was just like a real bad luck cycle. And again, the 4 energy comes out again. So this is really about stepping into your power, wanting a new foundation for your future. You may have also took a real look at yourself in the mirror and said, you know what? If I want to get beyond this, there's something I have to change. Like, if I don't change my environment or change the people I'm hanging out with, or if I don't, you know, end cycle on this relationship, like, I'm just going to keep experiencing the same thing over and over again. So I do see, like, there's personal accountability here. You also spot some cracks in the facade. You saw things clearly, and you recognized, if I want to turn something around, it's up to me. As some of you do feel like you dealt with, like, some witchy characters here. You may have felt like somebody was gunning for you. You may have felt like there was a mark on your back. You may have dealt with a little subterfuge. You may have felt like you dealt with a bad luck cycle. But I do feel like you stepped into your power. And you're like, oh no, this is not going to weigh me down for the next 7 years. 7 years, there could be like a connection there, 7 years. 13, Scorpio energy could be connected to this as well, okay? Something had to come to an end. And it also may have brought about like a little bit of a feeling of a rough ride too. You know what I'm saying? It's like it ended, but it was painful. It ended, but it was difficult. It had to come to an end, and that was bad luck, you know? And when something came to an end and the facade came to its conclusion because there was cracks in the facade and the true identity was seen and the true reality was seen in a situation, it caused one to reflect on themselves. And this created some kind of change here, all right? Let's see. Some more details here. There's definitely been an ending here. And one is embracing their independence. One is heading out on the road, you know, to explore their own path in life. Maybe getting used to being on their own after, you know, a time of, you know, being paired up for a while. This could also be somebody who's been the perpetual bachelor, or perpetually, you know, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, and is just really maybe finally coming to an acceptance of that. Like, you know, it's okay for me to be on my own. I'm cool with that. And for somebody that's newly single, this may be like, well, you know, I kind of want to explore my options for a little bit. It's been a while since I've gotten to explore my options, and maybe spoiled for choice there in that regard. Okay, there could be a few potential people of interest that you're wanting to explore. I also feel like if you're newly single, there may be a few women kind of like curious about what you're up to. They may suspect that you already got somebody in mind and they want to know those details, all right? There can be a little sense that eyes are on you at this time. Like people want to know what you're up to now that they don't have access anymore. So again, you could have broken free from a particular group of people, or maybe cut off certain romantic involvements you may have been keeping to yourself, just enjoying your own energy, or out of a relationship, wanting to explore your options. All of these scenarios kind of coming in. I do feel like it's sort of like a mixed bag for Gemini. Gemini, for those of you that have a lot of feminines, you know, you have a lot of women as friends, you may feel like they're a little too up in your business. I am picking that up a bit, right? Yeah, it gets exhausting. I see that with vigor here. Like you're kind of just wanting to be on your own for a bit. I think you're like processing something. I do feel like you're opening up a new path here. You took some action. You're stepping into a new experience. Some of you are moving, all right? And everything's very different for you. You've had to face a lot of your fears in relation to this, but I do think that you're optimistic about what you're stepping into now, even though you've been through some challenges. But I also see you're in this like real soulful phase. There's something you've transformed and you're just wanting to find your own way right now. You're not wanting to feel like you have to educate all these other people about what you're doing, what you're up to. And in fact, it's kind of like slowing you down, and you don't have any obligation to this, all right? So I do feel like there is this desire to have personal space, because as much as you're enjoying being in your own energy and kind of exploring possibilities, there's also a need to clear out some grief here. There's some sorting out of things that have been on your mind, things you're processing here, and you're coming back into your heart, but you're just sort of like getting your second wind here. So you may feel like you got people coming around and they want all the details of everything. I would just like, you know, maybe keep a little space around this for yourself right now. I think that's in your best interest, right? So let's see what your new beginning is about here, because it does feel like a lot of people want to know where you're going, what are you up to, who you're hanging out with, okay? But there's like slow down energy for you, a burdensome energy. It like drains you to have to keep these people in the loop. And there could be a Virgo connected to this. All right, what do we got here? Yeah, man, this is tricky energy. This is tricky energy with the blender. And all it's going to do is stir up a lot of arguments here. There could be a Capricorn that's connected to this, right? There's also something that could really affect, you know, your public reputation. This could be somebody who wants to put all your business on blast. This could be somebody that has a drinking problem, or somebody parties too hard. This person creates chaos, man, like wherever they go. So I think it really is in your best interest to just keep it quiet, all right? I feel like there's a lot that's in a state of transformation in your life, and things might have gone down in quite a dramatic way too, as you broke away from a certain community of people, or you got yourself out of a particular connection. I mean, it may have gotten a little rough back there, because I do see there were arguments. There was a lot that got stirred up here. You know, there may have been a big mess made of things here. But I feel like you don't need to be caught up in this drama. There's something that you've already transcended here. You just got to be the calm eye in the storm. Just let it all whirl around, you know, on the periphery of your life. Don't pull this energy in, because then you'll get caught up in all of that. I do feel like there's something here about a party scene, or, you know, somebody's been drinking too much, or, you know, there's a lot here that's stirred up. It's very volatile. And I do feel like there's something about maybe addiction that's playing a role in this. And it's just good to kind of like stay on your own path right now. You know, you're coming into a state of health, a state of balance, and staying connected to this old group is really just going to create problems for you. It's going to keep you in the crossroads. So don't get pulled back there. It looks like it's really time to let this go. And there could even be like kind of like a codependent dynamic here as well that does need to be released. All right, so let's get some more details. Got the future, what you're stepping into. You may have recognized that, okay? You may have recognized like some addictive patterns that were occurring in a particular connection and recognized you needed to separate for that reason. Yeah, it could have caused a lot of fights within a household. All of the mutable signs have had a lot of disruption at home. Okay, I see that. 8 energy there. It is something that has its roots in the past, okay? And you got out of a tricky situation. I feel like you really looked at something that was operating beneath the surface for a long time and you recognized this is important, you know? This is important in order for there to be healing here for myself. I need to disconnect from this. And maybe, you know, the other did too. And that's not something that's really seen right now. But I think in time it will be, right? There might be some solar flares right now. You're stepping into the light here. I do feel like there's a new beginning here for you. It's just up ahead. I do think you're going to start to see the first rays of hope coming in within this season, within Leo season. I do feel like you're right on target here with your North Node. This is when you're getting to the other side of all this like energy that's stirred up around you and you're getting focused here. You're getting aligned with your North Node, what you're meant to step into here. And I think you're feeling really good about it, okay? And there's also like something balancing out here for you. I think you have something to feel really proud of the way you handled a situation, the way you navigated some pretty tricky territory here. You overcame some challenges from your past, and I do feel like there's also a certain like spotlight on you, like a shining moment here, something you have to feel really proud of here, something you've balanced out. But you do have to be aware of these like subversive influences. It's got like fox medicine, which is usually what's camouflaged, what's hidden that could be problematic. And I do feel like it's that secretive energy that just sort of wants to eavesdrop on your next steps, your plans here, that it could pull you into some mess that it looks like you're already on the other side of. You just really need to stay on target here because you already came to a point of confronting these issues and you had the strength that was needed and the courage to overcome these challenges of the past. But if you feel the need to pull this energy in with you and let them know your every move and, you know, all these details, it could really hold you back just as you're about to step into expansion here. So we have Leo energy out here. We also have Sagittarian energy, Capricorn energy is what's on the board. And then right here, we got attack. You see? And there's the invaders from Mars. Okay, because strong Leo energy could be connected to this or something that rises up out of the past. 6 energy, Venusian energy, Libra energy, Taurus energy here. Somebody who's out for someone's head. You know, they're on the rampage here. This may be somebody who's stirring up a lot of drama here. And you do need to be aware of this. It's better for you to stay in the center of this. Just let all this clear out. You know, you don't need to get caught up in any of this, all right? Mars energy too. There could be an Aries connection in relation to this. All right. Rise above this. Again, you might just want some space. You might be turning to an Aries. Help me get some space from this. I need to get away from this. You might be going on some trip with an Aries. That's possible. Okay. Getting a little space from this. Yeah, this is somebody you feel a good connection with there. Okay. Yeah, you might be going on some trip. Okay. That's Sagittarian energy. There could be a Sagittarius connected to this as well. I do feel like there's something you've transformed. You shed an old skin. You're not the same person you were. There's something that's actively in a state of transformation right now. Also, I feel like emotionally you've gone through a radical transformation. You want different things now. There is a new path that's opening up for you soon here. If you don't see it yet, you will soon. We got that Pathfinder medicine coming through. So your blind spots are being alleviated here. What works against you is being revealed to you, and that's giving you the ability to get really focused on what you want to aim for here. And there is the sense that you're going to shoot for the moon and you're going to hit the mark, and you are coming into alignment with kindred souls here. You're communicating with kindred souls here, and this is really good. And there might be something about going on a trip with somebody that you know, is helping you kind of like get away from it all. Yeah, you want to get away from these rats. You want to get away from it all. You're wanting to flee a scene that's become really disruptive and just a little sus. Like there's characters here that you don't quite trust. Again, it's coming in with the energy of 6. That's the Lovers. It also makes me think of, you know, needing to make a choice, the crossroads, stepping out of the crossroads, finally making the decision. And I do feel like your blind spots are being illuminated, and as a result of that and understanding what's worked against you, it is freeing you from the crossroads. The Lovers is your energy, Gemini, in tarot, and I think something has been resolved and you've chosen to step on your own path here. But I think you're in communication with somebody else here that you do consider kindred, and I feel like there's communication that's opening up here. You may even be getting together with this person, going on a trip with them, dropping in. This is somebody that maybe you share a real, like, this is my soul brother, or this is my soul sister. You know, I don't know. Maybe in some cases you feel like somebody's a soulmate. It could be. This is somebody that's part of your soul family, though. And I feel like they're helping you with this transition, and maybe you're getting away from it all just to drop in, maybe restore a little bit. Maybe you feel like, I just need a time out, man, after everything I've been through. So you could be going on a vacation. Also coming in with the Venusian energy signature. There could be a Libra connected. There could be a Taurus connected to this. There could be the desire to drop in with somebody and heal with them too, where there's been some problems, and kind of get on the other side of the Mars energy, right? The warring energy, and find your way to the more peaceful, beautiful, you know, restorative side, nurturing side of the Venusian energy. Because, you know, that energy of Venus, it's not just love, it's war too, right? And I do feel like there's been something here that's been volatile, and there's a desire to move into calmer waters, but that might require a little space, a little distance, and a little exploration, okay? So this energy coming in. Let me do a cut of the deck here. All right, I do feel like there's a process that kicks off here, you coming into alignment with somebody that's like a kindred soul. I feel like that goes down at the full moon, but there's a whole process that's kicked off, that's underway at that time. It's not like one experience here. It's more something that unfolds over time, maybe throughout a complete lunar cycle there, okay? So from one full moon to the next full moon. Right? So this will play out over time. Might be something that really comes to a state of fruition in that process in October. Okay, so from harvest moon, yes, I see, okay. From harvest moon in September to hunter's moon in October will be the culmination of this process, and might have you making a decisive choice at that time. Might even involve a trip or a relocation, or what your next action is. And I think whatever this is, you're aiming big, okay? And it may seem like it's pretty lofty, but I do feel like you will hit the mark, right? Cut of the deck. Wow, that flipped up. Happiness around this, okay? So communication around this. Communication that does move things forward. Yeah, there's a gift here, okay? So there could be like some celebration coming into play, birthday celebration, something like this. Breaks you out of monotony, okay? Whatever this is that's coming in, it does feel like a gift to be able to move forward, to be able to step into this. And it does sort of revive you, maybe when things have been a little dull and you need a little shake up in your routine. But do be aware, like there is a little suspicion around this blessing energy coming in for you. And it is big blessing energy coming in with 7-11 there. All right, so I do think you're gambling here. Your gamble is paying off. It's bringing about some kind of alignment for you. But you do have, you know, you do have some catty people around you. They feel like you got some secrets. They want to know what you're up to. I think to preserve this happiness and not to get dragged back into the same old thing you just broke free of, you need to keep this under wraps. And that's what I got for you. All right. Stay tuned. Stay on target. Stay focused. Don't get distracted. And Godspeed. May you get where you need to go.